Like the other members of the panel, I would like to congratulate GDN for the kind of work you are doing and its importance. My comments are from the point of view of someone who has been a broker between the two worlds, the world of research and the world of policy, as lead economist or chief economist for different countries or regions, probably qualifying in what Alex will call the rusty researcher category, who speaks with the rusty researchers on the other side. And my comments are on, from this perspective of a broker, and what I see as the most effective ways of using knowledge, solid knowledge, to elicit change, which is what we want to accomplish. And there, the two things I would like to say refer to the targeting of the knowledge. Targeting in terms of the audience, a point that again Alex made, targeting in terms of the content. In terms of the audience, I think it's remarkable to see these products like documentaries, iPad applications, Facebook pages, but I think again, as Alex said, they tend to be extremely useful for the researchers who can absorb already that and are into the process of using it for their own research. They are not perhaps the most effective ways, in my opinion, to reach really the people who are influential, who are going back to technology of a different time of the Renaissance, are not the readers of iPads. These are the advisors of the prince. This is Machiavelli. You really need to have the confidence and the trust and the ear of the people who in turn have the confidence and the trust of the ear of those who make decisions. And I think that's where the planes and other modes of engagement are very important to take this knowledge. Again, I'm all supportive of what you are doing. We have done the same for the World Development Reports. We have them in iPads and all other forms. But I still find, as I go in the dissemination of the World Development Report, that one-on-one seminars with the kind of people who are struggling with these issues in their countries is where things become more important. And these people tend to have a bit more time. It's not like, Bob, I don't have time for this. They are actually interested, which brings me to the second type of targeting, which is which knowledge. I think one approach is to summarize what we know and to take it out to these people. But I think it's way more effective when we summarize the knowledge that addresses the questions these people are struggling with. They are not dealing with everything. They are focusing on a few things. And I will list out of the discussion that took place here already for the Q&A session, a few that I see as very central in the South Asian context. One is the question of how to move out of the regions where the Green Revolution already took place, how to move east, how to have this increase in productivity move east in the case of India, can be different in other countries, but how to have this spread of higher productivity in areas where this has not happened yet. Second point, which I have seen also quite a lot in the context of Sub-Saharan Africa, is smallholder farming versus commercial agriculture. There's a big temptation to say productivity is in commercial agriculture, let's go for it. Smallholder farming is something we have inherited, but that's not where the big action is. And I think views on that, on why is that household enterprises remain so important, what are the kind of agency problems we face in farming that are behind this, to what extent we see this inverse size productivity relationship and so on and so forth, is something they are struggling with. Third is the moving out issue, which will raise it. And there I want to remind something that we build upon again in the World Development Report, but it comes from previous work by Alain de Janvry and Elisabeth Sadoulet, which is the idea that just moving out doesn't do the trick. And they had this very nice figure showing the degree of urbanization in Sub-Saharan Africa and in East Asia, and the growth in GDP associated with that. And if you move from very low productivity in agricultural areas to dysfunctional cities, which are not the cities without slums of some East Asian countries, they are slums without cities, basically, because they don't have the functionality, you don't get a lot of that productivity again. And we see countries in Asia, from China with the hukou system to India with the NREGA, the Employment Guarantee Scheme, thinking about slowing down that transition when they have cities that cannot absorb and are not functional. So moving out is something that people are struggling with. Is this really just the main objective? Fourth point I see policymakers struggling with is something that Doug mentioned, which is agricultural research and extension. To what extent lack of progress of the green revolution out of the initial areas has to do with the fact that there is not enough knowledge on the right seeds, the right cultivation techniques, and how can that be brought once the knowledge is there to farmers? There is an enormous tendency to rely on vocational training and things like that, and there is enormous potential for things like suppliers of seeds and fertilizers to and agricultural extension agents to play that role. Last but not least, in my list of targeting the questions is the political economy of changes. I think everybody knows some of the drawbacks of the subsidies for electricity and irrigation, who is capturing that, but nobody knows what is the kind of arrangement that can overcome the resistance by the losers to these things. So two points as we open up to Q&A. Again, from my perspective, is who to target with this kind of research and what kind of messages really to focus on to try to answer the questions people are struggling with.